of the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I am Russ.
And I'm Chris.
And this is episode 243, correct? 243?
Yep, 243.
243, guys. Welcome back to the virtual nerd basement. It has been we had a week off, so it's nice to be back.
Yep. It's nice to have, some time off and get to do some other things. And ACD,
Yeah.
thanks for the comment on the new logo. I like it. Russ did a great job on it.
Fine.
But yeah, it's great to be back. It was weird. It felt like forever being off for 2 weeks. And then not having D&D last week, I really, really missed that.
Yeah. That was rough. Wait a minute, why did we have to miss it? It was, you had...
I had a concert. I went to see
Flogging
Molly with Violent Femmes.
Right.
Which, great show. One of the better Flogging Molly shows I've seen. Violent Femmes were good, but Flogging Molly was just fantastic. They played a new song. I guess they've been writing for the last 6 months. They're planning on getting in the studio later this year and knocking out an album. So the new song was absolutely fantastic. It was very much like an old Irish sea shanty.
I had a couple other friends that went. Apparently, I think Tommy went and Cub. I mean,
we saw Meg and Barb there.
Yeah, Meg and Barb were there. Yeah, they said she mentioned that she saw you. I saw Meg at Ren Fair on Saturday. No, I said Barb. I saw Barb at Ren Fair on Saturday, and then I saw her again on Sunday at the rehearsal for the murder mystery show that she and I are both in.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that.
No, you hadn't. I didn't know you were. No.
Yeah, I've been in a rehearsal for a couple of for like a month and a half, 2 months now, of Sundays. I'm involved in a murder mystery dinner theater kind of thing. And it's pretty cool. I'm actually a secondary character. I don't have any lines in the show, but what I do, me and about 4 or 5 other characters, we are sprinkled in the crowd. And then we're basically atmosphere and flavor. Mm-hmm. And so we talk to the people that are having the dinner theater, and we kind of disseminate information and spread rumor, and kind of, because each table is supposed to try and figure out who's the murderer is. And then so we're supposed to kind of like either give them hints or throw them off or whatever. And it's pretty cool. I'm my friend Mikey, that's his real name. Michael Mikey. I want to have him. We need to have him on the show soon, because he is also a Twitch streamer, and he's like huge gaming nerd. Like, Michael has forgotten more about Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games than you and I probably know about. Anyway, he's got this production company, this theatrical company, and is putting it together. And I was like, yeah, I'd be interested. And it's a
his parents clearly hated him.
He gets that joke a lot. He does get that joke a lot. But Kevin Starnes is in the show. Barb is in the show. My friend Aaron Egan is in the show. So a lot of friends from Ren Fair. Mikey is an old buddy from Ren Fair as well. So yeah, it's been fun. And
cool.
We were playing mobsters that pretend to be vampires.
Okay, they pretend to be vampires and not really.
It's a mob family that are instead of from Italy, they're from like instead of from
you
Italy,
messed that up.
I messed that one up. Right. Instead of from Italy, they are from Central Europe, like they're Transylvania and Romania and stuff like that. And because of their names and the kind of the aesthetic, they lean into the vampire aesthetic, and it kind of makes people's, you know, it makes them kind of spooky and scary and shit. So and it also it's in late October we're doing the show, so it's cool to kind of, we're leaning into the Halloween thing, and
cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I can see that because, you know, mobsters like to dress up, vampires dress up. You know, it's
exactly, you know. So so it's been pretty cool so far. And I didn't think I was going to be able to. I thought I was going to have to take a bunch of weekends off of rehearsal for fair, but then when it turned out I wasn't going to be able to work fair, I wasn't working fair.
Is this gonna interfere with Tavern Nights?
No, it's only just one. It's one day and it's a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one show.
I thought it was a multiple.
No. It's one event. We are hoping to possibly, if we sell enough seats, we've basically sold roughly half of the seats now. If we sell enough seats, then or we could potentially get another show, which would be like maybe either an early matinee or the following Sunday, which would potentially be a Halloween.
So it's the Sunday before Halloween?
No, the Saturday. I got to double check. I always forget.
Well,
but yeah,
you'll have to get me info, man.
It's not anywhere nearby. Unfortunately, It is over by. It's closer to Lansing.
Okay.
So it's like half. It's not halfway, but it's like about a half an hour outside Lansing. So about an hour drive. So it's not horrible, but it's not in the Detroit metro area. It's closer to Lansing. So that's a bit of a drag. And I even said to Mike, I was like, man, if we could get this show closer to home, because everybody in the show is from the Detroit area. Like, man, if we could get this show closer to home, I could probably sell more tickets, man. But yeah, if you're not doing anything on that day, it's like, I mean, a cheap ticket, but you get a full like 6-course meal and all the entertainment, and you get shit to take home with you. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, at least, you know, give me the info and I'll
give you the info, and at the very least we can, you know, maybe we can promote it on the podcast.
Yeah. So other than that, how was your 2 weeks?
A lot of work at that's a cross genre. I've done that at a brewery before, sans the vamp ankle. Apparently CD has gone to a murder mystery show. It's been a lot of work. We're ramping up. It's just we started once you get into September at the Parade Company, that we're in the home stretch. Yeah, like we got 3 months basically left. So I mean, that's
2, don't you?
September, October, November.
Well, that's right. I guess yeah. I'm thinking from now you've got like 2 months left.
No,
just over.
More like 2.5 months at this point, because it's only it's the 14th. So
yeah, dude. Tomorrow's my birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday! Holy shit, you're old.
Yeah.
What is that? 51.
Yep.
Fuck.
51.
51.
Thanks, CD.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, we're ramping up production. We're rounding the bases on Delta Dental. We've moved into GM. I've seen the art for Henry Ford.
Thank you, Auntie Dawn.
Yeah, thank you, Auntie Dawn.
Over the hill, not for a vamp. No. I'm a baby vamp.
We're moving into production on General Motors. I've seen the art for Henry Ford Hospital, and we still haven't seen art for Central Michigan University. So we're gonna have to like bang out a float in like 3 weeks for Central Michigan. There's gonna be a lot of late nights. There may even be a week or two that you may have to find a guest host.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it home by 8 or before 8. I'll let you know though.
Okay.
Plenty of heads up. I went to Ren Fair the last 2 weeks. The first week there was no drama, but it was weird. and I was just it's very odd to be there without being a worker.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was, everybody was glad to see me. And then I went again on Saturday this week, and yeah, zoom in from the studio. I don't think that'll work there, Renee. Sorry. And then I went last week and just ran into some drama, and that was kind of disappointing. Not anything I really want to go into here, but it wasn't horrible, but I was just very disrespected. So hopefully I can get some of this cleared up soon, because it sucks a lot.
Yeah.
This place is my home. And
yeah, I mean, all it takes is some conversation. And
yeah, it's all it takes. Just clear the air, clear a few things up. If they don't want to employ me anymore, that's fine. But I would like to know.
Let's be adults.
Yeah,
that's
let's be adults.
So
I'll tell you one thing. Some shit's got to change there, because like what worked 15 years ago is not working now.
Times change.
Right.
Imagine that.
Well, when they started bringing in volunteer groups to work different areas of the festival, a volunteer group would come in, work a food booth, work garbage pickup, work a bunch of string of food booths. They'd work the front gate, whatever. It kind of worked 15 years ago or so, because people would get paid a certain amount. It would go towards their charitable organization, and they liked it. The pub, same thing with the pubs, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is not really working anymore. It's not, people aren't as gung ho to go pick up garbage at a Renaissance festival for 10 hours in the hot sun for a certain amount of money, when they can do a GoFundMe. Yep. Or they can do online stuff where they raise money online, where people just send out a thing and say, hey, we need money, and people can go, here you go, here's money. And they don't have to, people just aren't down for that anymore. And it's been harder and harder. The first couple of weeks, I mean, like I said, they just passed the third week of the festival, and this upcoming will be the fourth weekend. And the Labor Day weekend, it was the Labor Day weekend I went on Saturday, and the garbage that was the third weekend, wasn't it? Yeah. And then this past weekend was the fourth weekend. The garbage on most of the garbage cans was towering, was just overfilled. It almost looked like reverse Jenga, because people were just taking their garbage and going.
Yeah.
Just and I mean, it was crazy. It's because they don't have enough people to do that.
When I was there like 2 or 3 years ago, was the last time I was there, that was the same situation.
Yeah.
There were always overflowing garbage cans when you found them. It seemed like they had taken a bunch out, because there used to be trash everywhere, trash bins everywhere. And now it's like, it was hard to find them. When you did, they were usually overflowing. Right.
And I mean, that there's honestly no real reason for that. I mean, they could just pay people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the CDA, what it is they want volunteer groups to come out and do it, because then they just give to a charity organization. They can actually write that off as giving to charity, and they get workers.
Right. And that way, they don't have to
interns. Basically.
It's essentially, but I mean, that, like I said, like a charitable organization will get $25,000 or $15,000 or whatever from the festival for them to work the entire weekend, for that charitable organization to provide 15 people a day to pick up garbage all day. And they might get, or I don't even, 15 grand might be high. I don't know. It could be 10 grand.
Probably is. Knowing the ownership there, that's probably really high.
But still, when you think about it, okay, 15 people working at even minimum wage, which is what, $9 an hour, something like that. Working minimum wage, let's just run it at $10 an hour. $10 an hour. That's say 15 people, 10 hours, 11 hours. What's the math on that? Do you got a calculator?
What? I'll say 10 people, $10 an hour for what, 11 hours?
For 11
that's
hours.
$110. So
times 15.
So times 10 would be $1,500 1,100 or 1,100. And then another
right here. Say 10 hours
so
times
1,650 or 1,850. PD says 1,850
times 15. Yeah, equals. So yeah, okay, so I got 1,650 for 15 people at $110 a day. I mean, and that's probably cheap. So maybe a volunteer group. So maybe they go, okay, get 20 people to work this whole food group, or 25 people to work this whole food area, which is not the most pleasant stuff to do at the festival. It could be hot. It could be, shitty. You got, whatever. And let's say even like, okay, let's double it times 2. So you got 3,300. That's how much money he might spend if he paid people. He could give them, 4,000 or 5,000. It goes directly to the volunteer organization, or the charitable
charity
organization. He can write that off as a charitable donation, and he gets the good press for it too. And so, yeah, like I said, I mean, maybe $5,000 for one group for a day, and it still works out. The problem is these people, those groups are not as reliable as actually just paying a bunch of people to come in and work, because these people are being paid to come in and work for the weekend. But the volunteer groups are all volunteer. You never know if you're going to get enough people to do it. The first weekend, one of the food areas was completely shut down because the people didn't show up, and the people that were supposed to do the garbage also didn't show up. So it's just, I think that is a program that needs to be shuttered, because it just doesn't work anymore. You need to just start paying people. But the problem is they can't even pay people, because the Renaissance Festival has a really bad reputation for, just not paying people enough, or just kind of being kind of shitty. The festival is a wonderful place, but the management is not top notch. So kind of disappointing.
Yep. All right. Well, we should move on from that, because we got a lot to talk about tonight.
How was your week?
Dude, it was so busy.
We went to the concert.
Yep, went to the concert. I had my fantasy football draft. I had 2 of them in the 2 weeks since our last show, which both my teams did fantastic this weekend. I got 2 wins. But went to the concert. That was great. I got a new cell phone. I got a new chair.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a Secret Labs chair. They're not sponsoring us, but I splurged and actually got myself one of the Secret Labs gaming chairs, and I have to say, it is maybe the most comfortable gaming chair I've ever had.
Motherfucker, you know what I got? I got like a 50-year-old like office chair. All right.
You want one? I've got my old one. You can have
office chair, or
yeah, it's a gaming chair.
A gaming chair?
Yeah, it's the red.
I'll take your gaming chair if you want to hand it to me. Get it. Shit. I'm broke now.
But yeah, other than that, it's been work and just a lot of other stuff. Did the curling club golf outing. Yeah, it's been really busy. Not bad, but just busy. I turned my computer off. Oh.
Oh man. It's like some Critical Role going on back there.
Exandria Unlimited, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's it. How'd that happen?
I don't know. I'm just gonna. I want to shut it down because that stuff up here.
Just minimize it.
Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I will block it. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, the ghost is at it again. Every once in a while, her computer just starts up and it starts playing whatever she was watching. So,
actually, today I listened to the Ashley Johnson one shot.
Yeah.
The outer space thing that it was a sci-fi adventure based on. It looks like Ashley Johnson is a big fan of the Alien movies because it's very kind of, but super good. It was fun. It was just a one shot. It looked like it was really fun. It had a great little story there. I could have seen that as a like an episode of a TV show or a, kind of a movie or whatever. But I mean, it was derivative, definitely very derivative. So, but it was everybody but Matt and from the main show. Oh, everybody but Matt and Scanlon.
Oh, I didn't realize that they weren't on it. I thought it was everybody from the show.
No, it was Ashley game mastering, and then everybody but Sam Riegel and Matt. Oh. So yeah, and but it was really cool. I highly recommend it. It's about 3.5 hours. So it's not a super long one.
Yeah,
it's still a typical length.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of episode 140 right now. So I'm getting near the end. I got ready. This is an almost 5-hour episode, and then there's that's 7.5 hours or something like that for the last one.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, because they spent a lot of time like wrapping. I think it felt a little rushed. They could have probably drawn that out for another couple weeks, but I think they really kind of wanted to finish it so that they could move on to some of these other projects and stuff. But they did a lot of like little like wrap up and in like one really long episode, and I just think they could have. It made me a little uncomfortable. I was like, man, I think they could have. It just felt rushed. If it just felt rushed,
that's a full fucking work day there.
Yeah. It was a long time, but what's cool? It was just like I just felt like they could have broken that up into maybe 2 or 3 more episodes. Yeah.
Well, and we will be back with Tavern Nights on a week from Friday.
Yeah.
On the 24th, I believe it is. Whatever the Friday after next is, the 24th.
Today is the
10 days from today.
Friday is the 24th.
So 10 days from today, we'll be back with Tavern Nights, and that'll be a good time. Yeah, Renee just said that she agreed. You could spend at least one more video to wrap up.
Yeah, for sure. And I am looking forward to when they do some kind of follow-up epilogue too, like they did with the first campaign. Because there's the search for Grog, the search for Bob, and then Valent's Closet. And so there's 3 kind of wrap-up shows that kind of brought it all together. And they were spectacularly good. Like the last one, I know you haven't really, I don't think you haven't listened to those yet, have you?
The Vox stuff?
The Vox Machina.
No.
Because you're
because I want to get through Vox Machina before I actually watch the wrap-ups, the extras.
Right. It is tear-jerking. Like my coworker at work, Nick, she's listening to the last, like she's listening to those epilogue episodes, and I'm like, don't do it here. Don't listen to him at work. You will weep. You will weep. And she's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So,
all right,
so anyway,
what are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I am drinking again a hard cider forbidden fruit watermelon. I didn't have time to get a new one, so I'm just kind of revisiting this from a couple weeks ago. Spectacularly good. I still like. It's very sweet. It's very like watermelon Jolly Rancher, but it's good.
That's St. Ambrose, right?
Yes, I believe so. The Naughty by Nature, or it might be St. Julian.
Or St. Julian. That's what I meant.
It's St. Julian, yeah.
That's it. When you said Julian, I was like, oh yeah, that's it. Well,
yep, St. Julian. So, guys, check us out. Like I said, it's really sweet, but it's quite tasty. I highly recommend it.
So for me, I am drinking another Three Floyds beer. I actually picked up a bunch of them when I went to get prizes at the bottle shop that I really like. I go to get prizes for the golf outing. I always go in there and I always buy a bunch of stuff for the golf outing, and then I put that in the car and I come back in and get a bunch of stuff for myself because there's always new stuff in there that I want to try. And in this case, he had a shit ton of Three Floyd stuff that a lot of it is stuff I haven't had or haven't had since they came to Michigan. So this one is actually their Scottish ale called Robert the Bruce.
Robert the Bruce.
And that's the let's see which way.
That's a good looking bottle.
Yeah, it's a good looking bottle. It is a darker ale. It's got a nice brown color to it. There is light that goes through it. You can't really see it on the camera, but there is light that goes through it a little bit. It is a very malty beer, like a Scottish ale should be. You get a lot of that like malty, biscuity type aroma on the nose, and it's got just a touch, just a small head, but it clings to the glass pretty well. So I'm going to take another sip here. It's very roasted. It's got a little bit of chocolate and a little bit of caramel on the very end, I think. It's actually kind of sweet. It's actually really good. I like it. I like Scotch ales. I think this would be absolutely amazing if they aged it in a barrel for a little while, like in a bourbon barrel. I think that would taste incredible. But yeah, it's 7.5% ABV, so it's not a lightweight beer. It does have a full mouthfeel. It's not real light on the tongue. I'd say actually probably more like a medium. But yeah, overall, I really like this. I'm going to give this probably 4 bottle caps. Fantastic. If you can have it, if you can find it. I know when I was talking with Ken at the bottle shop, he said that Three Floyds did actually shut down like their location or something like that so that they could actually start distributing to more places. And I guess they wound up distributing to 17 states in 30 days.
Wow.
Yep, they opened up 17 states in 30 days, which that's huge. That's incredible. So if you can find them, Three Floyds, they're out of Indiana. It's one of the only nice things I can say about Indiana. It's fantastic. Everything I've had by them is great. But yeah, if you can find them, Three Floyds, Robert the Bruce, absolutely fantastic. If you like Scotch ales, or even if you like malty beers.
Right.
But yeah, Ken was telling me that he ordered, when they first came in, he actually told his guy that he wanted 20 cases of everything that they had. And the guy's like, what? Really? They're not that. He's like, trust me. He's like, yeah, I've had this. Now, they came in at the beginning of August. So it's been about a month and a half now.
Okay.
He said he ordered that. And his guy thought he was crazy. He's had to restock 3 times.
Wow. Fucking crazy, man. That's great. You know, that's pretty cool.
Cream City Bricks from Enlightened. It's a cream ale, but not creamy, really. Average. Okay. So, all right. So, where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the bad news that came out today?
Yeah, let's start with the bad news. Let's start with the bad news so we can keep going with this.
Yeah. So, I did see today that Norm Macdonald has passed away.
Yeah,
comedian Norm Macdonald from SNL, and actually, one of the things I didn't realize was the reason that he supposedly got fired from SNL was because he wouldn't stop doing OJ jokes. Because he was on during the whole OJ trial and everything like that.
Yeah, he started in 93.
Yeah.
He started at SNL in 93.
And I guess he was doing Weekend Update, and he was constantly doing OJ jokes. And I guess one of the higher ups there was actually friends with OJ, or at NBC or something like that. They were friends with OJ and told him to stop, and he didn't. So they fired him.
Wow, that's crazy. Fuck them, man. You know. God damn.
I'm like, that's what Saturday Night Live was for.
Yeah, exactly. My brain, sorry, train of thought just derailed.
R.I.P. Turd Ferguson.
Right.
Hey, Rich.
Norm Macdonald was, I guess he was he was fighting cancer for the last 9 years.
Yeah, and that's what I'd heard.
People saw him, he looked like kind of like shit.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is that thunder or a motorcycle?
Probably thunder. They were supposed to have storms rolling through right about now.
That's thunder.
Yeah. So, Rich just said R.I.P. Turd Ferguson. That was one of the best roles he did. I was never a big Norm Macdonald fan. I didn't really think he was all that funny. I wasn't a huge
fan, but I did see some of his stand up, and sometimes his stand up was pretty cool. He was a very interesting delivery style. And
he voiced the goo on Orville.
He did. Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Ah, man. Oh, well.
Yeah, so Rich said thunderstorms loud in Warren.
Yeah, they
I just heard a little thunder through my headphones right after you did. I'm wondering if it was probably the same thunder. It's probably closer to you than me.
Yeah, probably. So he had some pretty funny movies, and I mean appearances in some movies. I mean, the guy was a talent, you know. He did a lot of voiceover work, and
he was the first Colonel when they started redoing the Colonel Sanders stuff, and
that's right, he was, wasn't he?
Yep. And he actually made a really good Colonel Sanders.
I mean, and the funny thing is he wasn't known for his impressions, but he was really good at some of the impressions he did. He like his Burt Reynolds was really good. What else? He did a bunch that were fairly memorable. But anyway, we should raise a glass.
Yep.
Raise a drink to Norm Macdonald.
And his comedic stylings. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks
for the laughs, man.
Yep.
You've gone too soon. 61.
All right. So let's move on. We'll get through some of this stuff. We got so much to talk about. We only got like an hour left. So
it's coming down, man.
Yeah, it was earlier too. When I left work, the sun was shining and I was getting drenched because it was just pouring rain. Bunch of new video game announcements and releases. Ones you brought up were Spider-Man.
Yes. Okay, so a Spider-Man sequel, Spider-Man 2. If you played, because it's kind of weird, because if you played the original, or the first Spider-Man, not the original, but the more recent Spider-Man game, which was for the PlayStation 4 and across, it was also on the Xbox and whatnot. Fantastic game. Honestly, one of the best superhero games I've played in a long time. The character, the acting was good. The story was really great. It was a slight variation on the standard Marvel universe. It wasn't the 616. It wasn't the mainstream Marvel universe. He had a slight variation.
It wasn't the sacred timeline.
Wasn't sacred. He had a very slight variation on the costume, and the thing is, you could get all these really great different. You could collect different and earn different costumes, and different, like, you could make him look like he was a cartoon. You could make him look. It was some really cool stuff. You could make him look like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You could make him look like the Scarlet Spider, or Spider-Punk, and all these other different really cool things.
They had the Iron Spider in there too, didn't they?
They had the Iron Spider, all bunch of really great stuff. And they worked some of it in the game as well. Some of these different costumes were worked into the game. They also introduced Miles Morales in the movie, or the game. And it's just a really great fucking game. I burned through it in like 2 weeks. I did nothing but play that game. I was in Florida at the time. I think it was down. It was back in 20. And it was one of the last big games I played on my PlayStation, my PS4, I think. No, not the last, because I still had it for another like almost year. But I just like, I finished up Red Dead Redemption 2. No, that was the year before. But anyway, I played the shit out of that game. It was really, really great. And then they had a sequel, a semi-sequel, called the Spider-Man Miles Morales. Jeez Louise. So, and I haven't played that game yet, but it's a, I think it retails at like $40. So it's considered kind of a smaller game. It's not a true sequel. It's more than an add-on, but it's not less than a sequel. So it's also gotten rave reviews. It's one of the first games to be released on the PS5, as well as the 4 and whatnot. I'm actually going to be picking that game up soon, I think. Well, this game coming up in 23, I believe it comes out, is Spider-Man 2. And it is going to feature both Spider-Man and Miles Morales. And one of the villains that has been revealed, or the main villain, will be Venom.
Okay.
So, yeah. If you see the trailer.
Well, that's another one of that's a trailer I haven't put on there too, is the Venom 2 trailer, because I just saw that too.
Yeah. It's a... it looks beautiful, and it looks like it's going to be just fantastic. So I am down for it. I believe it is from Insomniac Studios, which is also the studio that is putting up the Wolverine video game. So did I end up putting that trailer on? I did.
Oh wait, I don't know if you put the trailer up.
Okay. If I didn't, I will have to check. But the new Wolverine video game looks amazeballs. It's just a sorry. It is also from Insomniac Games. And it is just a teaser trailer. It basically just shows Wolverine, basically a decimated bar, like destroyed bar with unconscious bodies everywhere. And then one body is like stirring, and you see a guy in a plaid shirt and a cowboy hat sitting at the bar with bloody knuckles. And this guy gets up behind him with a knife, or flips out a knife, pulls out a knife, and is like, and Wolverine. And then you got the guy sitting at the bar just squeezes and then blackout. Wolverine. It was part of the PlayStation showcase that was just during over the Labor Day weekend, I believe, and it doesn't give a date on it, but it will probably predate the Spider-Man game.
Okay. Cool. I could play some Wolverine.
For sure. And
go ahead.
I'm down, man. I mean, for sure. Anything. I mean, I like Wolverine. He's not my favorite fucking X-Men or favorite superhero. I always liked him. He's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is for me. He was one of my favorites when I first started getting into comics as a kid. Because one of the first comics I ever bought was actually the Wolverine miniseries, right, where he's back in Japan. And that's actually what got me into the X-Men after that.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I can hear the rain. The rain's coming down out here now.
So it looks beautiful. It looks like if it's gonna fully utilize the next generation system, it's gonna be fantastic.
Well, and speaking of PlayStation and exclusives for PlayStation, they've announced that they are going to do a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, a full remake of the entire game, exclusively for the PlayStation 5. I guess they're saying it'll come out for PC later, most likely, but they're putting it out originally just for PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And this it's actually being done. I don't remember which company's doing it. I'd have to look that up. But they are not involving BioWare or I think Electronic Arts, which were the companies that originally did it. And I guess BioWare's come out. I saw a tweet that they came out and said, "Hey, more power to you. Do a great job. You know, we love this game too. We can't wait to play it." So it's one of those games that Knights of the Old Republic has been named as one of the greatest games of all time by most gamers.
Yeah, and it always bothered me that I never got around to playing it.
I never finished it. I actually
just pick it up on Steam. I
actually just picked it up on Steam. And I was actually thinking about going through and actually streaming me playing it for really the first time, because I really didn't play that far into it, I don't think, when I originally played it. And
it's saying something considering how big of a fan you are of Star
Wars. And I never played Knights 2.
You never played Knights 2?
No.
Well, my guess is
Coder 2, really, I guess.
Coder. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if if it becomes like one of those, like they combine 1 and 2 together and kind of create like this Gestalt game. That would probably be that's what I would do anyway.
But yeah, anyway, there's no date on when it's going to be out. It's just that they've announced that they are remaking it and they're going to put it out. They're going to redo all of the graphics. They're going to keep the story pretty much the same, but they're going to redo all the graphics, everything like that, make it a setup for the modern systems.
Okay, that's great. Sounds good to me. I mean, like I said, I'll finally get a chance to fucking play the game. I've always wanted to. People have always said that it's wonderful, and everything. And I'm like, it's it's one of those great regrets as a gamer that I've never gotten
Yeah.
around to playing, So and if I can get the chance to play it, in a updated version, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess part of it too is that they're saying that BioWare is just so busy with the Old Republic right now, the online game, because they're putting out a brand new expansion. It's a big expansion. It's their 10th anniversary of it. They're so busy with that they really wouldn't have been able to do the remake anyway.
Right on. It's then good. I'm good on them for passing it on to someone else. Are you done?
Yeah, because there's really not a lot of info on it yet. Just that they are remaking it, and I, for one, can't wait.
Okay.
So.
Well, I've got a little information on another game here. I just kind of shared some gameplay footage for God of War Ragnarok, which is the sequel to the most recent God of War.
I heard about that too.
Well, people were making a stink about it because apparently their version of Thor is kind of chunky. He's depicted as this because Thor is in the new version.
I've been seeing pictures of it online.
Right. He's depicted as, and I've got it actually playing on my.
He's a husky guy.
Husky. He's got kind of a belly, and people were saying that some of the strongest men in the world are guys that are not like like dehydrated, ripped. They're big men.
What they show in a lot of the pictures that I've seen is they show that picture of Thor, and I didn't realize that's what it was from. But they show him like holding his arms up, and you can see the little bit of the gut he's got, and he's very square framed.
Right.
And then they show like one of the guys from the strongman competitions, and he looks just like him.
Right. I saw that too. I was like, yeah, like I said, some of the strongest men in the world are huskier guys. I mean, they've got like all of this muscle surrounded by a layer of rigid fat, and it's
and what you got to realize is what we've come to see as being like Thor, like the way that Chris Hemsworth looked, or Chris Evans looked, or any of those guys looked. That's unhealthy. That's extremely unhealthy.
Well, I don't know if I'd say
they are, but to get that look, they have to be highly dehydrated.
Correct. Yeah. So
and they have to have a dangerously low amount of body fat. Right. The human body is supposed to have some fat on it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got like, 1% body fat, you're probably not the healthiest you should be.
Yeah.
It's different for men and women, but yeah, for sure. It's
and let's face it, come on, Thor's a fucking drinker. For
sure. He's a drinker, he's a crouser, he's a Viking. I mean, he's not necessarily going to have a six-pack, The depiction that Hemsworth put forth was a superhero depiction, not the way he was often depicted in lore. So, I mean, hell, if anything, he in the mythology, he had flaming red hair. He was known to have flaming red hair, and he was known to have, he would have a big fucking big belt, a big girdle of strength. And he had gloves that he would wear. He had metallic gauntlets that he would wear that would help him to control his hammer, the heat that he threw off, and all the power from the lightning and everything like that. And he didn't really depict that much in the comic book so much. It's more like Thor had internalized a lot of that power. So,
yeah.
All right. I'm also going to share the Spider-Man trailer while I'm at it. So guys, if you want to see these trailers for these games, go to our Facebook page, Nerds with Alcohol on Facebook, and check them out because they are amazing. Some of these games are really great. A lot of these trailers are directly on their gameplay footage that they're pulling from the games. So it's kind of cool. That means these games are more or less, I mean, they're working, they're getting done,
Yeah. Okay.
What?
CD Projekt Red put out 45 minutes of gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077 3 years before it actually came out.
That's true. Although the gameplay for that stuff was drastically different when they finally did release it.
Well, I only watched the first little bit where you actually go take that chick out of the tub and take her outside. That was pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty much the same. But later on, I mean, some of this stuff was very different, So anyway, I'm fucking looking forward to all these games, man.
Yeah.
I played God of War a couple years ago. I think that was another one I played like right around when I played Spiderman. It was so good, man. It is really a fantastic game. And it's a great example of a game franchise that finally matured, because I've talked about this before. The previous versions were very pandering. They didn't, there was a lot of like just background titties and just things that were like, I don't know, man. I just don't like to be pandered to.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to see the tits in my video games, fine, but don't make it like don't make me feel like a 13-year-old kid that's trying to sneak playing Leisure Suit Larry so my parents don't see me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that shit. So Spider-Man, Wolverine, God of War, and God of War 2 Ragnarok.
Yep. And I've also
and KOTOR, the KOTOR remake.
And I've also heard that they're going to be making a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. They're making a sequel to that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I didn't play that. Wait, did I play that? That's the newer one.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah. I haven't played the new one yet.
I just got back into playing it again.
Yeah. I'm gonna get around to it.
Hey, Sneak Coot. Sneak Coot's on saying hi.
Hey, hello, Sneak Coot. Evening. I got a war. Let's see, maybe I'll play that once I buy a new PS5 system. You should, man. Get your PS5, man. And a lot of these games are getting PS5 upgrades too. Some of them are. The Avengers game finally did. They did release the new stuff, the Wakanda stuff, releasing Black Panther as a playable character. I haven't played it yet. All of those updates are free. Those content updates are free, but there's a lot of microtransactions in that game. So if you want all of the costumes and you want all of the shit and whatever, you can earn those credits in the game, but it's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you don't have to pay to win. You just have to pay. You pay to
get there. All right. So along with that, we also had a slew of trailers come out.
Yeah.
In the last week or so. Where do we want to start? You want to start with?
What do you want?
Let's start with Picard. So.
Oh, Mr. Picard.
So I watched the trailer. Actually, I just watched it today, and I've got concerns.
You've got concerns.
Yep.
Lay it on me, man. What are your concerns?
I am not happy with the direction they're going. I loved the first season. I was really interested in seeing where they were going to go in the second season and what was going to happen. I hate the idea that they're going to fucking do time travel and they're going to put them back in the 21st century. I think that's lazy fucking writing. I think it's horrible.
Okay, I don't think it's horrible. I will agree that probably it's lazy writing. At the very least, they're cheaping out by putting the show in a 21st century setting so that they can use modern day setting and stuff like that. Because it does supposed to take place in the early they go back to the early 21st century. I am excited to see Q again because I've always liked Q as a foil for Captain Picard. I
did like Picard saying, "I'm too old for your shit."
I'm too old for your shit, and it's just I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. I do like a captain that swears a little bit, And
the idea that like they're going back to stop Picard from becoming like what looks like a dictator.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's changed it into. He's almost changed the mainstream timeline into the alternate universe, the mirror universe of Star Trek, and you know, I love the multiverse storytelling we're seeing in both DC, in the DC comics, the Marvel comics, and Marvel in the DC shows and the Marvel shows and movies and stuff. I've always been a big fan. I've always felt that when they do the multiple timeline and multiple parallel dimension storytelling in Star Trek, that it's a little bit of a reach. They did it in Discovery. I was like, all right, it was kind of cool in Discovery, in first season of Discovery. I'm all right with that. But I was like, okay, move on now.
I understood Discovery. So Discovery, I could let that go because one, they went forward in time, and they're telling all new stories.
Well, now, but in the first season, it was they
went to the other universe, yeah. But as far as time travel goes, they went ahead in time. It explains why we don't know that Discovery ever existed, why no one talked about it, and that spore drive, because it's gone.
It's gone.
I think it was kind of a cop out on how they got rid of it, but it's still it works. So I still think that it's stupid that Michael is Spock's adopted sister and shit. I thought that was just stupupid. All this universe, and she's got to be related to one of the most well-known characters in all of Star Wars or Star Trek. Why?
What they could have done is they could have just made her like a relative of Captain Pike instead, or a relative of Number One instead. But instead they made her a relative of Spock. And I know they did it because they liked the whole idea of tying in Spock with Discovery and things like that. But the fact that Spock there was never once a mention of Spock and his sister or his adoptive sister.
Yeah.
In all of canon. Like I would have gotten it if he had said at some point if he had said something about his sister. I mean, he did talk about a brother, a half brother, in one of the movies. He's like, you never told me you had a brother. I don't. I have a half brother. And you're like, motherfuck, So they, I think it was Star Trek 5 is when they did that. God needs a spaceship. And why does God need a starship?
It's one of the ones I couldn't get through. I don't think I ever watched that whole movie. It was just, It
was rough. It was rough. That is one of the ones. It's one of the even numbered ones. So it's one of the odd numbered ones. Yeah. So it's a little odd. It's a little rough. I watched it because I'm a completist, and I have it in a set of all the movies, and one of these days maybe I'll watch it again for laughs.
Yeah, but anyway, so I don't like that they're going back in time to stop this alternate universe from happening. So because it's like Q makes this alternate universe happen, and then they're going to go back in time to stop it. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I enjoyed Picard. I enjoyed the first season. There were problems. I had problems with some of it and some of the storytelling element. But going back and revisiting that character and some of the other supporting characters were great. Seeing 7 of 9 again. Having her interact with Picard, that was cool, and seeing the progression of some of these characters, and honestly, just seeing like characters like shut the fuck up, kind of thing. Like telling a woman like Picard to I think she did. She like shut the hell up or shut the fuck up or something like that.
Yeah,
I was that Admiral. I was like, fuck yeah, it was amazing. Some of that element was really cool.
It's much more realistic.
Yeah. So I did like that. I did like the fact that the storytelling is very realistic. On the other hand, some of this stuff is like, it does feel a little pushed. It does feel a little shoehorned. And I did hear that they are planning I think they are talking 3rd season now too. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna watch it. I'm just disappointed in the direction they're going.
Who knows? It could be fucking badass, man. I mean, I am open-minded to it. I do think. I
also think it's way too early to do that.
Yeah, that does seem like a third season kind of thing for me. You know, I would have liked to have seen maybe a few story points from the first season revisited a little bit
Mhm.
more, like maybe dealing with the Romulans a little bit
Yeah.
more, and you know, just and maybe some of the more Borg cleanup stuff. You know, like kind of deal with that a little bit more. But no, they're immediately going into, we're going back in time, y'all. We got to go to the 21st century where people were hungry and poor and didn't have universal health care. So I think, but like I said, again, I am
back in time, Marty.
Marty, we've got to do something about your kids. Gotta get back in time. Hey, by the way, before we go get anything else, you seen Shang-Chi yet?
No.
Okay, neither have I.
I really want to see it. I still want to see Black Widow. Because I still haven't seen that.
Right.
And it's one of those.
I saw Black Widow. I did see.
Yeah. But no, I haven't. But speaking of Marvel, another trailer that came out is the Hawkeye trailer.
Moving right along. Yeah. The Hawkeye trailer. I posted it on the group.
Yeah.
And I was like,
now
my comment was, okay. Marvel, DC, you got me. Oh, that's fine. Or Marvel, Disney, you got me. I'm in.
Yeah.
You know,
I watched that trailer and I'm like, I had the exact opposite reaction that I had at Picard. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait for this.
Yeah. I think this looks great. I think we're finally going to be able to see, we're going to see a Hawkeye where that is a little more in line with what we see in the comics.
Yeah.
Because Hawkeye was always the member of the X-Men that was the irreverent.
The Avengers.
Or excuse me, man, my brain isn't working too much. Yeah, he's a member of the Avengers that was kind of the guy that kidded Cap a lot. You know, he really looks up to Captain America, but at the same time, he'd be the guy that kind of made fun of him or kidded him, or you know, the kind of guy that Cap would be like, Barton, you know, kind of thing. You know, if Cap would have been his boss, Barton would have been his pain in the ass, you know, employee that was valuable but was kind of a pain in the ass. And we didn't really see that a lot in the movies and stuff. We saw him make the occasional quip or smart ass comment, but we didn't really see a lot of it. And
his best comment was actually in Thor. You want me to take him out, or you want to send some more guys in for him to beat up?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Personally, I thought one of his best ones was in Age of Ultron when Quicksilver, like, you know, makes some sort of shitty comment or something, and he's just like, they'd never know. They'd never know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, Hawkeye, if you shoot him with an arrow, they'll know. You know? So it looks great. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like apparently Haley Steinfeld plays Kate Bishop, the female Hawkeye, the young girl that took over the name when Hawkeye was apparently dead. Hawkeye had been killed in battle and action, and then later when was resurrected through the Scarlet Witch manipulation of reality, and somehow he came back. And so while the time he was thought dead, Kate Bishop was operating with the Young Avengers, and she was just like this really capable Olympic level athlete that she was like, that was really good in archery, that happened to be, I think she was like stuck in Avengers Mansion or something, and she was able to grab I'm gonna grab this and grab that, and she grabbed like a bunch of different like Avengers weapons that were kind of being just kept there, and she grabbed Mockingbird's mask and her battle staves, and also grabbed Hawkeye's bow and a bunch of his arrows, and so she just kind of came to be the new Hawkeye. And then when Hawkeye came back, he was like, cool. Yeah, there's There's no reason why there can't be 2 Hawkeyes. It's all good.
Yeah,
And then Matt Fraction wrote the comic where the two of them work together, very much like a mentor-mentee kind of thing. And he and Hawkeye, you get to see again Hawkeye being very irreverent, very quippy, very kind of smart-assy, and I mean they had issues where he adventured with Deadpool, and the two of them had comment off kind of situations and stuff. I think this is gonna be really fucking cool. And Rogers the Musical.
I was just gonna say, I want to see Rogers the Musical.
Rogers the Musical is the musical we need.
Well, it looks like we actually get to see at least part of it, because one of the scenes they actually show, I'm like, because at the beginning they show him and his kids coming out of Rogers the Musical. And later on, I'm watching it with Renee, and we're watching it, and all of a sudden that came on, and went, "Oh, Rogers the Musical!" But that, and I love like just some of the quips. Like he's like, they're in the car getting chased, and he's just like, "No, not that one. No, that one's too dangerous. No, that one, not that one." And she comes out and she's like, shoots it, and it blows that truck up, and she's like, "You have arrows more dangerous than this?"
Yeah, because it's funny. I mean, I always thought it was really cool that in the Avengers, you get to see how they handle his arrows.
Yeah.
Because I would always like, in the comics, they talk about Hawkeye would reach behind him, and he just knew by the feel of different like bumps and nubs and stuff that he would put on the tips of the ends of the back ends of the arrows, that he would go, "Oh, that's what I need. That's what I need." So he could just go, okay, it'd be explosive arrow, boomerang arrow, whatever. He'd know exactly where they were. And he still does. But what I liked is like he had that control on he had that trigger on his bow where he could select different arrowheads.
Yeah, and then it just put an arrowhead on the shaft.
Put the arrowhead on the shaft, and I did like the fact too in the first movie where he started to run out of arrows, and he would have to he was grabbing. He would shoot somebody with it, and he'd grab the arrow out and he'd use it again. And because the never-ending quiver of arrows is a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's one thing I could even see. I can even be okay with it in a fantasy setting. But when you're in a more of a sci-fi setting, you're like, come on, where are these arrows coming from? And even in the comics too, they even talk about like he would stash arrowheads all over his costume. Like he had different, and he had pockets and different things like that. And his quiver was as wide as his back.
Yeah.
Too. So he had fucking 100 arrows back there. But then he would have other arrowheads and stuff like that. You got to figure he's probably recovering arrows and stuff like that.
Hey, don't bad talk movie reload magic. That's what he said. Now the other thing that I saw in this is it looks like it's going to start off with Kate actually assuming the role of Ronin.
Yeah, and that's what gets him, he's like, oh, I got to go clean this up.
Yeah, he's like, I made a lot of enemies wearing that outfit.
So, and I like how they're bringing in the kids, and he still has the kids, the family, and whatever. I really do think that we're going to get to see, him really kind of shine as Clint Barton, and I think this is going to be Renner's swan song. I think he's done after this. I don't think he's gonna. If he shows up again in a movie or something, it's going to be like as a special guest or as a cameo or an advisory position or something like that. I think they're very much setting up Haley Stenfield as the new Hawkeye. I mean, they're moving towards the Young Avengers.
They are, and we're gonna get the Young Avengers at some point.
Eminently right. It's eminently, believable. And it's just obvious that we're gonna get that. So,
yeah, especially with things like Ironheart coming out and other things that are really leading towards it.
Right, exactly. With introducing the twins in excuse me, the twins in WandaVision.
Yep.
Man, ever since the fucking it was like right after Labor Day. Ever since the weather shifted, my lungs have been irritated.
My eyes have been itching the last like 3 days, like to the point where my right eye keeps watering to the point where it looks like I'm crying at times. I just feel a tear run down my eye, and I'm like,
Mhm.
But the other trailer that I saw is for one that I didn't even know they were making, and it's going to come out at Christmas. Matrix Resurrections.
Right.
And I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay, so the trilogy of The Matrix is a very contested kind of thing. Some people think it's genius and whatever. Some people think they should have stopped it at after the first one. Some people have felt like myself. I think I was like, the second one was, all right. I always felt like, because after the first one, apparently CD is a big fan. After the first Matrix, I was like, okay, now what? Give me more. I want more.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted more. I wanted more answers. I was like, this is awesome. This is ripe for storytelling.
And I'm right there. I loved the first movie. I mean, that was
Right.
when I came out of the movies and I looked at the world differently, actually.
Yeah.
And it was also, I was telling Renee this. I walked out of that movie. I was there on a date. And it was one of those nights where it was cloudy, but it was just that time of night where there's still light in the sky, but it had that weird light quality to it, like a storm's rolling in type light quality, where everything gets a little sharper.
Right, dude. The
and that's what it looked like. And I walked outside and I'm looking around and I'm like, things look different.
Right. Well, the Matrix, honestly, it was kind of like in a similar way like Avatar did. The Matrix started to make people think about reality and their own perception of reality and stuff. And there's entire there were people that were like, are we living in the Matrix? I mean, it was really fucking nuts how some people were really like crazy about this shit.
Well, there have been scientists that have come out and said it's possible.
Entirely possible. And the first one, like I said, I wanted more. The second one I enjoyed because it kind of expanded upon the lore. It expanded upon the technology. It gave us more. And I was like, but there were a lot of people that felt it fell short.
I thought the second one was okay.
I thought the second one was okay. I was like, okay, it's not as good as the first one, but that was a tough act to follow. And I'm all right. It's still spectacular special effects, spectacular fight scenes, some really cool shit. The third one was where it started to go wrong for me.
The third one, I think, shit the bed. It was like, here's Matrix 2, here's Matrix. Way down here is the third one.
I mean, I'm usually a little more generous than you are, and when it comes to these reviews, and I'd have to agree with you for the most part. I mean, there were aspects of the movie that I liked because it did, again, expand upon the lore. We got to see
it was the ending.
It was the ending.
Yeah.
It was the ending. I mean, in the movie, Neo fucking dies. He dies. So, I mean, he sacrifices himself like he should, because
he's a messianic figure.
And now we have a fourth one. So
with Neil Patrick Harris.
He's in it. I am cautiously optimistic.
No Agent Smith, though.
No Agent Smith. I do like the fact that both Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss came back.
And Lawrence Fishburne, too.
No, Lawrence Fishburne is not.
Oh, he's not? I thought he was.
Nope, that's somebody else.
Okay.
So I'm, like I said, cautiously optimistic. It is one of the Wachowskis is in it as well. I mean, has written and directed it. So at least they have at least one of the two original people that made the original films.
Yeah, it's Laura, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think it's Laura Wachowski.
I think it is. I think it's Laura Wachowski. And we'll see. We'll see. That's all we can really do. Really, is just kind of wait and see.
And I mean, I'm a huge Keanu Reeves fan. I just like him so much as a person that I will watch just about anything he's in.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also a huge fan of Keanu Reeves.
Although I
but
haven't seen that wedding one that you told me about.
it's super cute. Him and Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
It's Destination Wedding.
Destination Wedding. That's what it is. Yeah.
It was funny. It was. I mean, and it was impressive because, like I said, it's just the two of them. The entire film is all of the dialogue is just the two of them. I think there's one other person says like one other line, and the rest is just the two of them. And it's basically watching two people awkwardly meet and awkwardly fall in love, and it's not. I won't even go so far to say it's a rom-com. It's more like a date movie, and it's a lot of fun. So this movie was greenlit off of Keanu's recent success with John Wick. Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Keanu Reeves he's at that point in his career that he can get shit done.
Those are movies I still haven't seen. I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies.
I
really want to see them. They haven't been on anything that's streaming.
Dude, it's worth renting. I own them. Buy them. Just buy them. You'll love them.
Yeah, I know. Renee won't watch it though because the dog dies.
I know. So ridiculous. Stella's the same way about stuff like that too.
So, but we should probably move on.
Yeah,
we're at an hour and 15, and we've got 2 episodes of What If to cover.
Right.
So, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we get into What If?
I'm playing Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous on Steam. It is a fantastic game. It's on a standard. It's a top-down isometric RPG a la Baldur's Gate, and it is really, really fun. If you liked Pathfinder Kingmaker, you'll love this because they take out they've taken out the kingdom management, which I liked, but was definitely one of the more difficult parts of the game. And now instead you are managing a crusade. You are basically a commander that you're put in charge after you go through the first chapter of the game. That the queen basically gives you command over a huge a force basically. And I'm still my character's just hit 7th level, so I'm still I'm still just scratching the tip of I'm just the tip of the iceberg right now. It's really fucking cool. It's worth the $50-$60 on Steam or whatever it is, and I would imagine it will eventually be ported to a game system like Kingmaker was, although I find games of this nature much easier to play on a computer, so I highly recommend it. Check it out. Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous.
Okay, cool. And Auntie Dawn just said that she thinks that John Wick's on Peacock.
I think she's correct. I think she is correct. I think it is on Peacock. Yeah. Thank you, Auntie. All right. What if?
What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? That was a hell of an episode, and it was it's really the first one that we've seen that was very much along the darker lines of the What If comics, which we had talked about. A lot of them were.
Yeah, because we had the first one, we had what if Agent Carter became Captain Carter?
Yep.
The second one was what if
T'Challa
was Star-Lord. The third one was
what if Doctor Strange
was Doctor Strange, right? Yeah, the third one was what if Doctor
the third one was
what if the Avengers had been now
that
one was
that's right, that was the first dark one. That was the one we were talking about. That was the one with what if the world lost its mightiest heroes,
right? So Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, and Black Widow, and the Hulk had all been knocked off. So thankfully they still had Cap and later on to whatever, but yeah, that was heavy, man. And then this one, but that one was more like, man, what a bummer. But heroes continue on and they keep coming and they keep going.
Well, and there was a villain in it. I mean, they found out that it was Hank Pym was the one that was doing it. Yeah.
And then you also have the darker ending where Loki basically rides without the Avengers. He rides in and sets up shop.
Yep.
And takes over. And so then you got this kind of like, now the goal will be to create a team of Avengers that can defeat Loki and get him the fuck out of Midgard. So kind of cool idea, from there on. This one was dark emotionally. I mean,
yes,
this one
it was just sad,
heavy, man, really heavy, and but it was so good too.
Yeah, it was
just really a really great take, and I loved how when Stephen was absorbing the power of all these mystic entities, a little bit at a time, and his face and his body would distort into the shape of, or into elements of that creature, and then it would, as he absorbed the energy, it would go back down, and his arms would elongate, or he'd sprout wings, and then they'd slowly go back in, or whatever. His fingers would turn into tentacles. It was just like, when you think about it, it makes sense that a narcissist like Doctor Strange, because there's no bones about it, he might be a good guy,
but he's a
may
narcissist.
Be a better guy. He is still at his base. I mean, and he has become a better person. He's still at his base a bit of a narcissist, just like Tony Stark was.
Yep.
And just because you're a narcissist doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person. It just means you're like, look at me, look at me, So, and that can be really bad at times. But if controlled, if focused, and so, losing his girlfriend. I mean,
so that's let's go up to the start. So the car accident happens, and instead of him smashing his hands and losing his ability to do surgery, his girlfriend is killed.
Right. And, he adored her. He loved her.
Yes.
Crazy love.
And then...
So he searches the world for the ability, for the power to bring her back.
Yep.
And he becomes Doctor Strange. He goes through all of the things he has to go through. He defeats Dormammu and all these other things. And he becomes the keeper of the Time Stone. And
he realizes its potential.
Yeah, he realizes, well, what if I go back and can I change it? Can I, he even knows that this is going to create a paradox, but maybe I can change it. Maybe I can do something different, whatever. And it is revealed to him because he keeps going back in time, and he keeps repeating, because he keeps trying to change it. It keeps still happening. She's still
in different ways.
Dying. Every time she dies, they don't even get in the car, and they go for pizza, and she gets killed by a mugger, and it just breaks it. And then we find out that it is one of those immovable moments in time that has to happen no matter what, because if she dies, or if she doesn't die, he does not become Doctor Strange. Now, I'm thinking if there was a different sacrifice, like him losing the ability to use his hands, then she might have lived, but he never considered that. He never considered an alternate, kind of thing. And because obviously in this parallel, universe, that's what needed to happen. But I did it was kind of cool seeing the Ancient One again.
Yep.
And seeing her interaction with him. And then, like I said, like she essentially used the Time Stone to break him into two pieces, as we find out later. And one Stephen Strange goes in one direction, and then another Stephen Strange goes in the evil direction, and he essentially has an evil twin, and he has to fight himself. And it is, after he goes through all of this research, hundreds of years apparently of researching him and spending all this time manipulating the Time Stone and whatnot, so that he's spending all of this time researching and gaining power and gaining more and more power, so that he can actually, that she can live. And it fucking fails. It still fucking fails, because it is an immovable moment in time.
Fixed point. which is which they bring up in a lot of time travel stuff. Doctor Who does it all the time. Brings up that there are certain things that you can't change. They are fixed points in time. They have to happen. He's brought that up. That's brought up almost once a season, that they run into a fixed point in time.
Right, exactly. Things that cannot be changed. And I like that idea. I think that's kind of a cool thing. And it was sad, but like I said, it was sad. I mean, the episode ended where he got the power. He defeated the evil version, defeated the good version. He got the power he needed, and he goes back in time. He tries to he doesn't even stop it from happening. He just resurrects her, and she comes back, and she's horrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then because he is this horrible monster now, and then the world, the universe falls apart anyway. I mean, Uatu even speaks to him at some point in the Watcher. He's like, please help me. You're a god. You have to be like, I'm not a god, and I cannot interfere, and basically scolds him.
Yeah,
it's like, you did this and all this other stuff. So I thought it was just an awesome episode, just heart-wrenching. And that's the thing about What If. A lot of them are like that, man. And like we talked about it, a lot of them are darker kinds of stories. And leading into that, that's what we see in the following episode.
Yeah. What if?
What if? Sorry.
Zombies.
What if zombies? Yes. So it's another kind of dark episode. Like, holy shit.
Walking Dead dark.
Yeah.
And this is... But it's an interesting way that they brought it in. So it's when Scott came back from the quantum realm.
No, it was actually...
Oh, no, it was when they brought what's her name back.
Right.
It was Pym came back, yeah. It was when Pym came back after trying to save Janet.
Right. And he comes back infected with a necrophagic kind of virus that turned him into a zombie, and he proceeds to then spread it around.
Yep.
And essentially then destroys the world. Like, and I thought it was kind of cool in that, like, it's kind of like that thing where they picked up where in the Avengers movie where the Hulk gets beamed back down to the planet, and he's like where he in right before Endgame in Infinity War, where he gets shot down to the planet's surface by Heimdall, and
it goes right through the Sanctum Sanctorum.
And he's like, he's coming, Thanos is coming, and then he's like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
And, I just was like, oh man, this is really cool. And I really do like the guy playing the Hulk now, playing Bruce Banner. He's really Mark Ruffalo. He's great.
I think it's fantastic.
He really is. And so he is like getting attacked, and of course the Hulk won't come out, and he's like, no, I'm not coming out. Like,
yeah, he's still, because it's just like then, it's the Hulk was scared,
right,
because he had gotten beat.
So then he gets rescued by Spiderman and the Wasp and whoever, and there's basically this
and the cloak.
Yeah, Doc Strange's cloak, that was pretty cool too. You see, because at first the Cull Obsidian shows up, and they're talking smack and whatever, and they're looking at it, and then Iron Man shows up with Doctor Strange, and he's like, hey, great, Tony, you're here, and oh, that's a little extreme. Oh shit,
oh yeah, they start like ripping them apart and eating them.
Yeah, and he's like, and then they rise as zombies too. And so yeah, he's saved by this essentially this ragtag team of superhumans that have been able to resist it. Spider-Man, Okoye from Wakanda. You got the Wasp, the Winter Soldier. You got Happy Hogan wearing one of Tony Stark's like repulsor gloves. And you're like, Wow. Oh, and the one dude from the one Russian guy from Ant-Man,
yeah.
who has actually played the Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. So yeah, and they they explained to him about what happened about this virus, and it was super creepy the way how Captain America got it. You know, it's like a tiny Hank Pym bit him, and
Yep.
or Ant-Man, whoever it was. And I was like, oh, that sucks, you know. But it's really cool how they do it. They end up hearing the signal, getting a signal, and go, oh, we got to go to Camp Lehigh, which is another callback to that's the camp that Captain America was trained at. And so they go there, and they have to activate a subway train, and they're fighting to do that, and they keep losing here and there. They keep losing bits and pieces of their team, and it keeps that sucking, you know. And they get on the train, and it's difficult. Like Captain America shows up, and he throws his shield at the Winter Soldier, and catches it and throws it back, and it's just like, it was so rough, man. He's like, sorry, Steve, you know. It's just cuts him in half, and then they get to Camp Lehigh, and it turns out that the Vision had sent out the message, and he had figured out that using the Mind Stone on his forehead, he was able to counteract it, and at least not just counteract it, but cure it to some extent. And you see a severed head, a live severed head of Scott Lang, of the Ant-Man. And I'm just, and of course it is Paul Rudd, and he's making all kinds of dad jokes and quipping and stuff like that, because he's like, sorry, during tragedy, that's what I do. I relate to dad jokes.
You also see a zombified Scarlet Witch in a container.
Right, which is where we're seeing how we find out that the Vision is actually not completely on the up and up. He cut off a piece of the Black Panther's legs so that he could feed it to the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Yikes! But she's still immensely powerful. That's the other thing too, that these zombies still have full, their full faculties to some extent. I mean, they're still animals. They're driven by hunger, but they still have their powers and everything, and can still access all of them. I'm like, oh my God, it's so gross. And she is just immensely powerful. So, and like I said, heroes keep sacrificing themselves to get these guys out.
Like CD said, it was a very Walking Dead death count.
Yeah, for sure. The Futurama head in a jar. That was true. It did very much.
That's exactly what I thought of when he turned around. I thought of Nixon in Nixon's head in a jar.
It's funny, but yeah, they like Hope Van Dyne. If you figure out, like on the train, they figured out she'd been infected, and then she grows to giant size to get them that extra that last mile or two when she's walking through it, and then she dies and crashes over
and falls backwards.
And then the Hulk ends up also sacrificing himself, and the Winter Soldier sacrifices himself, and all of these characters just to get Black Panther, Peter Parker, and a living severed head Scott Lang onto a kind of beat up Quinjet to send them to Wakanda, where the last bastion of humanity. And that's fucked up, and then they, of course, and then you're thinking, and the cloak. Okay. Oh, and the cloak, that's true. And you're thinking, okay, this could potentially be, a little bit more of a happy ending. Maybe they'll make it out, because in the original Marvel Zombies, man, that shit is dark. It is a dark fucking comic series. And you're thinking, hey, great, they're gonna get to Wakanda, they're gonna save the world.
They're gonna Disney this up.
They're gonna Disney it up, because the Vision rips the Mind Stone off his forehead, and like drops, take it. And so they pick it up and whatever. And then you see there's Thanos, a zombified Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet minus one fucking ring,
minus the Mind
minus
Stone.
the Mind Gem, the Mind Stone, and they're just taking it to him. You're like, oh god, can you imagine a Thanos with a zombie Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You know, he's not killing he's not making half of the population disappear at that point. He's making it all disappear.
Well, he's gonna make it all zombies.
Yeah, make them all zombies. So, holy shit! You know, it was a hell of a show. I mean, and that's the thing. You know, they talked about that. The guy who played Black Panther, he would have three episodes, I believe, is what they had said, where he got where he got to play Black Panther again, and I think we've seen the 3 now.
Yeah,
I think because he was in the one. He was in this one. He was in the zombie one. He was in the
Star-Lord one.
The Star-Lord one, and wasn't he in another one?
He wasn't.
No,
he wasn't. No, I think he's going to be.
One more.
Yeah, he may be in the last one because there's talk that they're going to bring a bunch of people back for the last one.
That might be
for this season. He'll
probably be in the one where he's Star-Lord again.
Yeah.
Or he'll probably play that character again. Because you're right. I hear the last episode they're going to have those characters. Some of these characters from the shows that they've established meet up in some sort of.
Well, we still haven't seen the actual like Guardians one, because there's one where they show one of the pictures on the thing is Gamora holding Thanos's weapon.
Yeah. Well, maybe. So. I'm just loving the show. I think it's fucking genius, and we've got like 5 more episodes, I think, or 4 more episodes. No, that was. The zombie one was number 5, right?
Zombie was 5.
So we have 4 more episodes, because I think they only have 9 episodes.
Is that what it is? 9?
I think they were going to have 10, but I think because of COVID, they one of the teams working on one of the episodes had to couldn't do it. So, it is a good show. Thank you. It is a God show. CD, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's at the end of this show, because right around the show will end in about a month, and then we'll have another couple of weeks, and then we'll have Hawkeye, because Hawkeye premieres on Thanksgiving. On the
we'll actually have we're gonna have a month and a half without anything.
But I think the Eternals comes out in early November.
It does,
or something.
Yeah, so the Eternals comes out in early November, so we'll have that.
Constant Marvel entertainment.
At least every other month. Exactly. Because then Spiderman comes out on Christmas, mm-hmm. and then we got Doctor Strange in February.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's going to be before then, or right around when. I don't know exactly when it comes out, but we've got She-Hulk and Moon Knight both working. They're working on making those. In fact, I think they might have even done. I think they might be finished with principal photography for She-Hulk. So now it's a matter of the special effects shots and stuff. So,
which I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the latest Spider-Man No Way Home movie poster.
Yeah,
but I heard that Charlie Cox is actually on it.
Really? I have not heard that.
I have not either.
I am super excited about this new Spider-Man film. I think it's going to be. I think the Doctor Strange 2 will be more of a sequel to this than it would to Spider-Man than it will be a sequel to the original Doctor Strange film.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it on any of these photos that I'm seeing, but that said, one of the other things I didn't realize, as I was looking stuff up, I didn't realize that Charlie Cox was the guy in Stardust.
Yeah,
I had no idea. We were looking up people that were in Stardust the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, Charlie Cox!
Isn't that funny how that you just be randomly watching some movie or whatever, and you'll be like some actor that's maybe really big now, but when they did that movie, they were not huge.
Go back and watch Buffy.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy from Prison Break, and I'm like, all this other stuff. That was the one.
Pedro Pascal was in an episode. I mean, there's tons of actors that got a small role on Buffy, and that
But yeah, the guy that played Captain Cold. Mm-hmm. He's one of the swimmers in the swim team episode in season 2.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, particularly shows like Buffy and Angel, and from that era, there's a lot of people that were on those shows then that are big stars now.
Yep.
So same thing as Smallville too. Smallville is another excellent example of that.
Yeah.
So we should probably wrap things up.
Yeah, we should.
Getting a bit late. But thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, and thanks for coming back and joining us.
Yeah, we love having you guys here. Auntie, and CD, and
Sneak Coot.
Was it Sneak Coot?
Rich, Renee.
Rich was around. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. But guys, be sure to tell all your friends about us. We are getting really close to that number that we're looking for, that 50 subscribers. We are at 48 followers.
Yep.
We only need 2 more, and that'll get us more wide kind of distribution on Twitch.
It'll let our videos stay up longer, and we get more stuff for chat too. They get like some special emojis and stuff they can use.
Exactly. Tell your friends about us, man. We could really use the help.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the strangers on the street.
Yeah, exactly. Call the neighbors, put the kids to bed, whatever. But guys, we are on iTunes, we're on the Google Play Store, we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, the Odyssey app, and of course you can download and stream us at all the nerdswithalcoholshow.com. Guys, we are here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on Drinking Nerds on Twitch, and Chris puts the episode up on Drinking Nerds on YouTube a couple of days later.
Yeah, and you can find us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, Twitter at Drinking Nerds, and Instagram Drinking Nerds, which you can see right there below me and below Russ. You can also follow me on Twitter, specifically if you want, at Detroit Beer Guy. But yeah, we're also on Untapped. Just search for Drinking Nerds. Send us a friend request. We'll get you added on.
Exactly. So, thanks again for joining us. I'm going to be busting my ass now. I'm in ass busting mode at the Parade Company.
Yep.
And
we're going to see how things go about maybe trying to do Tavern Talk next Monday, depending on how things are going for people. I know Pete's out of town. He's down in Disney. So, so he won't be around for that. And he's actually going to miss our next game for Tavern Nights. So,
man. All right. If he must.
But hopefully.
I suppose going to Disney World.
Yeah, taking the fam down. So, but hopefully this next one we bring in a new friend for you all.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
So,
all right.
And then another one in a few weeks after that. So
yeah, exactly. So on that note.
Yeah, I think on that note, until next time.
Until next time.
Slancha. That was pretty
Excellent.
Good. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Well, I'd like to tell the story of the band, la 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 la, how we came to sing and drink across the land, la 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 la. Well, it started out as fun in the back of an old pub. Well, then we found the whiskey and the meaning of true love. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and everybody's sister will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome.